everybody. This is Old for Gold, episode 6, coming at you live from Irrational Radio. I know, right? It's great.
One of these days, we're going to get one of these right.
One of these days, we're going to get one of these right. And it will be wonderful. It'll be great. We are here exploring the Mishan Desert with Sir Took Woolik, as played by Eric, Arlen Perdue, as played by Brett, and Jalal Eldorai, as played by John. Perdue. I'll get.
I'm not even.
Right.
I'm nope.
It's fine.
You know what?
I see his
I'm
face.
changing my name to meet your ability to say it.
Okay.
Oh, he'll say it right after that.
Yeah, no, and then I'll say, you'll change it, and I'll say it wrong. Well, these guys have done quite a bit in the 5 episodes that we have joined them. They have already embarked on their first expedition, come back with the MacGuffin, and sold it for a good 5,000 gold. They used that gold to pay off the loan to the loan shark cat that they knew, and then discovered that the eye was actually part of some kind of ancient god ritual that locked a night god away named Lyle. Sorry, God, I can't even pronounce my own shit. Lyle. And she actually marked Sir Took as he died. I think Brett just couldn't stand it anymore. He left.
He's dead. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
So these guys have agreed to work with the mysterious All Watchers cult, which are apparently a group of orcs that were devoted to keeping Lyle imprisoned and secret in the museum of Quamar, or in the city of Quamar. The map of Quamar is still held in the Damthur Museum, which is the capital city of Misha in the desert, far to the south. These guys, we're going to begin. You guys are in the All Watchers cult underneath the alchemy shop. You guys are sitting around a table right now in basically a small office planning room, stone walls, kind of damp, not great. You have been here for a few days planning this operation. This is the day that apparently Kartuk, your information gatherer and chess master extraordinaire, he is basically reporting on all the information that he has been able to gather from the sources that he has. He is late, however, and it has been 2 hours since he was supposed to show up. And you guys are getting antsy. No one is with you in the room. However, the leader of the All Watchers, Azran, has left and to do like his daily duties as a leader of a big mysterious cult, and promises that if you need anything, there is a guard right outside your door. What you do know so far is that the museum does have the map, but you don't know if it's on display or not right now. And Kartuk has promised quite a bit of information. So yeah, that's where we are right now. You guys have not had anything to eat or drink for a few hours, however, as well.
I'm pretty hungry. I'm gonna say so. I was hoping to be out of here by now. Kartuk hasn't even shown up.
Yeah. Should we track him down or something? Make sure he hasn't found himself, in trouble or fallen down and unable to get up or whatever.
Well, maybe he's in one of the local taverns. I could check there for you if you want. I can personally go and do a little search around.
Bilal, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not too difficult to see through the thinly veiled excuse to go drinking.
I have no desire to drink copious amounts of grain alcohol.
That sounds like a really efficient way to go start about the search for him. Maybe Jalal and myself should in fact hit the tavern.
Yeah, I think we can split up. Certain I will go to the local tavern and keep our peepers open, and then you can do like a little bit of rounds around the city, you know, like maybe just like walk back and then forth. It'll be good for your old bones.
There is a commotion outside of the door, and excuse me, yes, excuse me. And Kartuk bursts in, carrying a armful of scrolls and papers. Says he's very sweaty too. He drops everything on the table and pulls out a large water skin and starts drinking greedily from it. It is a few minutes of just glug 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 as you all watch this massive orc drink water. He
Jamal's
goes.
head slowly starts to tilt.
Hi guys.
Kartuk.
Forgot.
You're late.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I overslept a little bit. I was taking a nap after I
Right.
did all this. He motions to the papers on the table.
How cheesy are they?
Actually, not super cheesy. Some of them are very cheesy.
You had me in the first half. Now,
Yeah. Some of them quite cheesy.
Well, it seems like you made it here in one piece, or maybe two pieces. I can't really be sure.
Did like you have any other trouble? It sounded like there was a bunch of hustle and bustle out there, or was that just yourself, sort of like struggling in the door?
I exist with other objects and kind of we don't get along very well.
Right.
So
Maybe
no,
like onto the report then, I suppose.
Right. Okay. So this, he unrolls one of the scrolls, is a blueprint of the National Museum of Damthur.
And you
Now-
used my favorite font.
As
You've used my favorite font.
oh, yes, thank you. That's just how I write.
That's
Right,
impressive.
yeah, that's,
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
glad you
With
think so.
dealing with 2-hour tardiness.
Oh, I'm glad. I mean, that's just going to reinforce the idea that I can sleep late and show up on my own time.
Oh, don't reinforce that.
Okay.
You'll be on the street almost within that 2 hours.
Well, you know,
Anyway.
I was thinking about getting Scratch's sword. You know, maybe make his garden duties a little bit easier. So maybe think
Oh.
about that. Keep
Oh.
that in your brain.
Okay. Anyway, as you can see by this blueprint, the museum is pretty well guarded. The red doors that I've marked are security doors. They're locked by magic every night. While the museum is closed. It closes at 1800 and doesn't open again until 6.
When the fuck is 1800?
That's like 6
That's
p.m.
6? Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that what we're looking for is going to be in the Hall of Ancient Treasures.
That makes
If it's
sense.
on display. If not, it's going to be in Storage Room 1.
Sure. Do you know how you like secure that in like what's on display or whatever?
No, unfortunately, I don't. We would have to go into the city to get that information. I'm sure someone has copied it and is selling it on the black market somewhere.
We could always just like visit the museum or whatever and see if it's like on display.
That's a good idea. Visiting hours are, as I said, between 6 and 1800. It only costs a silver to get in.
Well, that's not bad.
It seems
That's
like
an arm and a leg where I come from. That'd buy me a whole
Just-
carton of milk.
your arm's like bronze or whatever. I thought.
Well, it's a pseudo metal, but you know, nevertheless,
Yikes. Weird.
Anyway,
He points to the courtyard.
I see two blue doors here. I
right.
mean, those aren't going to be locked or secured.
Nope, but the courtyard itself is secured. The entire roof is blocked off by the same kind of magic that closes the doors. And I think it's how they keep the items safe too.
So you're saying we're going to have to get through potentially at least 2 or 3 of these locked magical doors.
Yes.
Arlen, do you have abilities that do that? Does your god think that breaking into magic doors is like a big part of your tenets?
No, breaking and entering is not among the commandments. If
What
you
about like seeking out uh ancient secrets or whatever? He kind of like
mean-
waggles eyebrows at you.
you could put whatever kind of spin you want on it. He doesn't give me abilities to open locked doors.
Oh,
There
Right.
has to be a way for the curators and the security personnel to unlock these. So if we figure out what that is, we could copy it or steal it or something.
sure. Yeah, that might be something else we could figure out if we get inside the actual building.
Right. We have to get there first. It's a pretty long ways away.
I've read a lot of novels about heists and robberies. Always step one is casing the joint,
Right.
as they put it.
What are we
So-
encasing it in?
I think like Jello might be a good one.
That
It'll
sounds
be
delicious.
Observation.
right? Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
thank
that's
you.
right.
We're
Maybe
encasing
we
it
could
in
like
observation.
dig under, right, and then like emerge in the courtyard.
That would
Once
be
around.
pretty difficult, seeing as how damn Thur is built into cliffs.
Oh, yeah, just kind of drat.
When you when you died and you talked to this spirit demon thing, did it give
Uh-huh.
you the ability to tunnel through stone?
I don't. Well, I guess I haven't really tried. I suppose. To be fair.
How about this? Try digging in the ground right now.
Anything's
see what happens.
possible.
All right. And yeah, he will start punching the ground with all of his might.
God.
Ah, ah.
It doesn't work. It hurts your hands pretty bad.
Ow.
Stone
you
floor
gave-
here.
You gave it your all, and I think that's really what matters more than anything else.
It was definitely worth a shot.
Valiant, I'd say.
I
You're like
do
a
not
9.
believe
I
have
think it was
any
pretty dumb.
magical digging abilities.
Well, that's the pot calling the pot of kettle over here. All right.
That's the
That's
pot
not
calling
how
the pot
that
a
saying
kettle.
is. Anyway,
I think I got the gist.
okay. Right. Anyway, so what's the plan?
I have a
Um,
question. Are any curators there overnight, or is it only guards?
It's only guards. The curators and the archaeologists on staff all go home at 6 o'clock.
Now, what would happen per se if there was a find at about 5:59?
What do you
Would
mean?
they- let's say, for
Oh.
example, someone brought in an item of very great import, very close to closing time. You think we'd be closed in there with them while they checked it out?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, almost definitely.
That could be. I mean, then we'd have a curator like with us or whatever, probably. Of course, that would. I mean, yeah, like if they're looking at something that we've got that's not like actually a relic or whatever. I mean, they
Well,
I
probably
think
notice.
the only
pretty
way
soon.
to really sell it would be to provide something that is actually a relic, and that's putting quite a bit on the line.
He
We
he,
have
hold-
the
he holds
eye,
up his
right?
arm.
Oh, hey, that's
Well-
pretty good too.
This is technically a red elf relic.
That's a good point. I didn't actually think about that.
They might
Huh.
want to remove it.
Well, they can try. I'm more than happy to sit in a room and let them look at it.
I've never had any success trying
don't
to pull
know.
it off while he's sleeping.
The eye might be
Was that-
more.
Nothing.
Anyway, I'm going with you guys to Damn Thur, right?
Does that make sense? Is that
We
a
have to
good
go through the
idea?
desert, don't we?
Just along roads. I assume you guys are gonna pay for a carriage, right?
Well, we did come into
Wasn't
a bit of money.
people who have money have it because they don't spend it.
Yeah, but people keep their lives because they get to enjoy a nice carriage ride through the desert as opposed to walking again and losing camels for no particular reason.
I don't know that we would necessarily lose camels on the road. It's, we lost camels because we were out in the middle of the actual desert, not just on a road.
Arlen, don't you think we've kind of like earned a little bit of excellence, a little bit of high living?
Right, you've
No.
got to like spend money to make money, right?
Sounds like what we've
That's
done
right.
is almost damn the world to some kind of terrible fate. I don't know that we've afforded much of anything yet.
Well, I think it's the friends we made along the way that really counts.
All the friends we've lost.
Well, we lost a friend and gained another friend. It evens out in the end.
I mean, yeah, we are like, neutraled out on the Archer count. I
We're a
mean,
net neutral
yeah.
right now.
There's a knock at the door.
Come
Azran
in.
comes in. He's the very tall, dark orc. He's a red orc, and he says, "Any progress?"
Some.
Yeah. I think we need to well, it seems we're all of the mind that we need to get inside the physical building, but Kartuk has done a fair amount here to sort of like set the stage for our observation.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Says, I have prepared 2 carriages to take you 3, as well as 2 others that you wish to take with you to Damthur.
Well,
I
I guess problem solved then, Jalal.
You see, I think it's pretty serendipitous that I get all the things I want at the end. I really like how things start turning out. I love traveling with y'all. Makes me feel like a king.
Yeah, apparently like some sort of chosen one.
Do you have
Yeah,
any
but-
other business in Makkah?
I think like we're
Imagine
pretty
we
much
should-
set, right? I mean, supplies or whatever before we go. Make sure we top up or what have you. But
I
I
mean,
mean-
that, and we should probably let the boys back at the base know what's going on to some degree, or that we're going to be back in, however long we think it's going to take.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like I guess. Do we want to bring like anyone else or just Kartuk here?
He beams.
Well,
Well,
Scratch was a bit of a wild child, right?
Right.
You think he's done any thievery?
I mean, who's to say? I suppose without asking, but it kept Kartuk getting on pretty well. It seemed.
We do need a babysitter.
all right. Well, we could bring him. And I trust Alderman Jolliman Folloman to
John
not
Jacob Jingleheimer,
fuck
sure.
everything up while we're gone.
I
Yeah.
think he's looking in line for a promotion. He's doing a lot of good work down there.
Like senior supervising plumber or something.
Well, the carriages will take you to the Old for Gold headquarters
Sure.
before they leave.
Sounds good.
Y'all got any of these sweet like cloaks y'all are wearing? Got any extras?
Yes, hang on. He goes into the coat closet and comes out. He like dusts some like flakes off of it. Here you go.
All right, I'll
Complete
throw it over his shoulder.
flakes.
I don't know what the flakes were, but I think it adds character.
I think it's best to not think about it.
I think so too, but I like it. He's just beaming like
You
giant.
you
smile on
really
his
should
face.
wash that before you touch it to your face.
Gross.
Yeah, pan back.
Ugh.
New coat.
So the carriages are outside. You guys all climb into one. It takes you to Old for Gold Lickety Split. It is led by a single very large black lizard called a Hyatt lizard. That's probably about like a horse and a half in length, so maybe about 10 feet, as well as about 4 feet high, and it moves pretty fast, and it heads through town with the carriage on its back, not led by it. You
Oh, that's
guys
cool.
arrive at Old for Gold, and it settles down and waits in front of the door.
What do I know about Hyatt lizards?
Roll me a spell lore. Actually, you guys all can roll me spell lore.
I was just gonna ask
Yeah.
if I could, because I want to know what I know about lizards too. Also, I keep forgetting I fucking have a pet. Jesus.
I don't know shit
Right.
about Hyatt lizards, guys.
Okay.
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. You're like, what is
No.
this creature?
What the fuck is this thing?
Holy dicks! I rolled 2 1s, so
Oh wow.
Oh, me
You
too.
Okay.
also
4
rolled
altogether.
2
Wow.
ones?
So neither of you have any idea what this is.
what is
I-
this?
I got a 5.
So none of you know what the fuck this is.
Does that include
right.
wisdom or intelligence or wisdom?
Spout lore is wisdom.
I got a 5.
Cool.
Solid.
All right. So you walk in,
Okay.
and as you walk in, you hear music. Skia is playing a flute-like instrument. It is a single tube that ends up in 2 tubes going off in like almost 30-degree angles. And Scratch is standing on a chair dancing right now, and Allum Solomon is rocking back and forth, clapping to the music. Skia stops and goes, "Ah, yes, welcome. You've returned."
I see that we've walked in on something quite beautiful. What is this?
Oh, I was just playing a little bit of music for these fine gentlemen. I really liked the sound.
It was pretty
I can
good.
tell. Scratch, a word.
Yeah. He pushes the chair back under the table and comes up. What do you want me to do now?
Well, we'd like you to come with us.
Where are we going?
Going to Damther?
Damther
Damther.
capital. Yeah. All right.
That's I didn't mispronounce it.
I've been there before.
Brett did.
And what, pray tell, were you doing there?
Oh, geez. A little bit of this.
Well, I'm going to step
A
out
little
of
bit
this
of that.
conversation.
Well, I think a big component of this is, have you done any CD work?
Oh.
I'm not talking about like Giga CD. I'm talking about like thievery and breaking and entering and.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Oh no, never done any of that.
Well, man, there was this noble woman. She had this fetish about goblins. So she had me break into her house a few times. You know,
Right,
she
I'm
was
gonna stop
there,
you there, Scratch.
alone.
Right,
That's
so-
fantastic.
That's great.
But how about like? So I guess like you are sort of trained in the whole cat burglary.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
aspect of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Great.
She was paying me 3 gold to learn lockpicking.
That's quite good pay, I suppose, if you can get it.
I feel like you got a lot of good work in your time.
Ooh, it depends on what you mean by
The
good.
broad horizons of work experience. Well, shit. Actually, he looks over at Skia. He says, like, I guess. Nah, never mind. We probably don't want to bring her instead or something. I'll bail out on that. Never mind. Sorry. Sir Tuck will not be as loud as I was.
So why are you having me steal?
We'll discuss that on the way.
Have you ever
Okay.
read or seen the play National Treasure?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, it's wonderful, first off. Secondly, I guess it's not really helpful then, but...
I've seen a lot of Minneapolis, James, though, so
It's along those lines.
Well, it's
Okay.
pretty similar.
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're
I
going to
don't
be
feel like
gone
he's as
for a
good
few
as Sir
days.
Case,
And he turns to the other two in the room. We should be back. This isn't a terribly perilous or dangerous journey.
Okay.
Same rules with the with the box. Apply here though.
Right.
So if you don't see us or hear from us within 3 months, then open that up.
Very well.
We will return and resume business at that time.
So you guys leave with Scratch and get into the Hyatt Lizard carriage, and begin the journey. The All Watchers did pack supplies, but the journey is not too long.
Do we have a coach, or is this just us and the Hyatt Lizard just knows where to go?
There is a coach. Yes, he is driving the Hyatt Lizard.
Okay.
He is wrapped up in desert garb and does not engage you guys in conversation. On closer inspection, you see that his thumbs have been cut off as well. It is only he only has four fingers to drive the lizard, but no thumbs.
That sucks.
So
I think Arlen does try to interact with him a few times on the trip, but if he
Is
doesn't
that-
respond, he'll drop it.
Is that familiar?
yeah. So it's like he's basically the equivalent of a slave taxi driver. Their thumbs are cut off so that they can't do any work
Okay.
but this.
It's like a eunuch.
Yep.
only
Right.
Cab driver.
Right.
And no,
Yep.
and no thumbs as opposed to
Yes.
No thumbs.
Right.
Yeah. The harnesses
Rough.
are designed in such a way to give very good control with only four fingers. There's grips on the reins that allow for reasonable control without the thumb. And some actually do strap their wrists to the drive too. But again, yeah, it basically is forbidden to engage in conversation with you guys. Also,
And he does it if he knows that he's not going to do that.
I mean, okay, sure. I mean,
Arlen's not like he's not like disrespectful.
Okay,
Like, if
okay.
he's forbidden to speak, he's not going to be a dick.
Yeah, he's pretty forbidden.
He will, however, try to slip 10 gold in the pocket of the guy's get up when he gets off of the lizard.
He takes it and nods.
Okay. I didn't know if he would try to not take it.
No,
He's apparently convention.
Oh well, I mean, like he's not
No,
gonna tell
yeah.
his employer that he got that, but he's gonna. Yeah, it's a kind thing to do.
No, it's fine.
It is about, I think, 400 miles to Damthur, but the lizard moves at about 50 to 60 miles an hour along the
damn.
roads of the
Holy
desert.
fucking piss.
Yeah, it's,
Everybody buckle up.
the carriage is set up so it's like hanging almost in a cradle that allows for some shock absorption, so you're not like shaken back and forth the entire time. But it is still a reasonably bumpy ride. Yeah, right. Like,
like Ace Ventura.
and this is also only possible over the roads of Damthur. In the desert wilds, it would take you'd not want to run a Hyatt Lizard this fast. That's just a great way to run it into like a bone wasp nest or something like that. But they can reach pretty high speeds. So you guys arrive at the capital of Damthur. The capital itself is the oldest city in the Mishan Desert, and some legends say it is the oldest city in Paralandia, though that is hotly debated from other places. It is built in a giant crack. There is a cliff that runs along the mountain range of the Damthur mountain range that has a sheer cliff face on one side, on the east side. The city has been built in a crack on this cliff. The crack is probably about 3/4 of a mile wide and a mile deep. The city kind of bulges out of the crack and spreads along the desert plain below the cliff, and there has been a wall built around the almost slums that have stuck out. The city is built with stones of many different colors. The capitals and important government buildings are situated in the back of the crack in white stone and shimmering golden rooftops, whereas the slums outside the city walls are made of either scrap metal or the worst sandstone that money can buy. Some shacks look little more than piles of sand that are barely standing up. The most of the city is made of graystone or redstone, and the structures are built in the classical swooping architecture of the Meshan Desert. The nobles live in apartments that are chiseled into the cliff faces and rise up maybe half a mile into the air. There are also reliefs and sculptures carved into the red rock of the cliff that are enormous and very very ancient. You guys arrive at the central gate, and are let in as the as Azran pays the gate dues. He came with you guys too, obviously. He is going to help, and kind of act as a little bit of a city guide. So he says that he has been at an inn at the wall, named the Green Inch, that he thinks would make a good place to sit and plan. The rooms are pretty cheap. You do not have to register to rent. You just tell the barkeep which room or which rooms that you are going to rent and pay him every morning. As long as you do that, there are no questions asked. Not a great place. It's basically like a hostel bar, like not a like hostile bar, but like a bar attached to a hostel. These are very common in these major cities in the desert, where some people have no idea how long they're going to be staying. You guys are led through the city at evening time, as the Hyatt Lizard took you through the day south. You're led into the Green Inch, which is just beyond the walls, so you don't get very far into the city. Just about as the stars are coming out and the moon is beginning to rise in the north. You are led in, and like I said, it's a pretty sticky bar. Your feet make the sounds as you come in. It is busy and bustling. There are many orcs in here, but also human traders, halfling bandits, and a whole manner of other Paralandian creatures. You guys walk in, and Azran says, "Find a table. I will pay for the rooms and let you know which numbers they are."
All right. Yeah.
Arlen hobbles to the nearest table,
Okay.
and
You
Karchuk
have saddle
follows.
sores? What are you hobbling for?
He's
I've always hobbled.
Yeah.
You just don't pay attention.
Well, I like in my head I like to think of Arlen as a very strong, heroic sort of guy. You know.
No, I am a strong heroic sort of guy. I just hobble.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, like in my
Um,
head though, you like strongly walk around and you have like barreling muscles.
Oh
If you-
man.
If you took the barreling part out and I strongly hobble around, then yes.
You know,
I don't.
Please
don't
have a
hear
seat. Can we sit,
Right,
please?
yeah.
speaking of hobbling, I've been here before.
What?
Oh, do you think anybody will recognize you?
Oh no. Oh, definitely not. No.
Okay, good. So I
Sorry.
don't care.
Why is that relevant to hobbling? I'm confused. Were you
Oh.
kneecapping people?
No,
he's-
no. I
don't
was
like where this
I
is
was
going.
hired by an elderly woman who had
That's
me
good
meet
enough.
here.
Scratch. That's good enough.
Okay. Okay.
You're going to have to learn, Surtuk, to not ask him questions
That's a good
that
point,
involve
yeah.
any sort of specifics.
Elderly noble women.
I wore a mask, so no one knew who I was. It per her instructions, of course. Anyway.
That makes sense. Yeah, it would totally obscure your entire identity.
Yes.
Jalal just walks away and makes eye contact with the bartender, like a beseeching send help.
A young orc comes over and says, "Hello. What can I do for you today?"
Can we get let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna need 6 of your strongest spirits.
The strongest. Are you sure?
Not ghosts.
Right. No.
Yeah, I don't want
Points.
banshees. I'm talking spirits.
Right. But the strongest. Are you sure?
All right. Maybe 2 of your strongest, and then the
I was-
rest like mild.
Wait, this
Was-
isn't, this isn't
I'll
like
just
a
have a
chili
wine,
bar.
thank you.
We don't.
All right.
We don't organize our spirits between like high spirits and low spirits.
Well, I mean, like, give 2 of us the strongest you have.
Okay.
Get Arlen a wine.
Right. What kind of wine would you like, sir?
Whatever the
How special.
just whatever the house special is.
House
Mhm,
special wine.
right.
Okay, very well.
You have any breadsticks?
No, we don't have any breadsticks. Though we do have some lizard kebabs.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Take a round of those 2.
Yeah,
Round of
yeah,
lizard
definitely.
kebabs. Very well. All right.
Yeah, whatever it is that you go for drinking, though, like heavy stuff, and then like
Right,
waters. Probably we were on the road. You know how it goes. Thank you.
Of course, of course. My name is Rizza.
It's good to meet you, Rizzo. My name is
No. We're
Thaddeus.
yeah, Thaddeus. You're right.
Nice
My
to meet
name-
you, Thaddeus.
My name's Charles.
I will go get your drinks.
Remember, Charles is my name.
She walks away as Azran comes back and sits down. We have rooms. It's numbers 11, 12, and 13.
All right, I guess
Cool.
Sir and I'll bunk up because there's some things I don't want to see at night.
I'll
Yeah.
sleep with Scratch. Oh God, no! Please don't make me.
That's pretty funny.
Look, you got to keep him in line.
Nose goes on the scratch wagon or on the Kartuk wagon. Well, either of them really.
Right? Yeah. No, I'm with. I'm
Fine.
with Jalal there.
I guess I'll be with everybody's favorite cultist.
Thumbs up.
I mean, you got like intersecting.
It's not a cult. It is a secret society.
Yeah,
of
and
guardians.
anything,
Right.
anything dealing with metaphysics or otherworldly beings that isn't considered a major religion is a cult.
I think they call it the occult. In fact,
They consider my religion a cult because it's not a widely recognized religion.
I did not
We
come
don't
here
we don't sacrifice sheep.
to have ontological debates with you, Arlen. We're here to plan a heist.
Yeah,
that's Thaddeus.
Right.
Why
Yeah.
can't
no,
we-
decided
yeah,
we
Sorry,
I'm
have-
Thaddeus. What are we using?
Why
We're
can't
using
we-
code names now.
I think so.
Well,
Yes.
I made the mistake of engaging the waiter with my name, and I just had to come up with something quick.
So Thaddeus.
So I'm Thaddeus.
All right.
Sure.
You can call me Charles, though.
Thaddeus
Charles.
and Charles.
He offered his with no reasonable explanation. for
It was
why.
my uncle's name, and I thought like I'd feel a little bit more part of the team if I.
Your uncle's name was Charles, but your name is Jalal.
Well, it's on my mother's side, and her name is like Stacy, but my father's name was like
Stacy
Jebediah.
Elgarai.
it's a very interesting family tree I come from, and
I would love to hear about it sometime after we've
But-
stopped the night
but-
god from taking over the Mishan Desert.
All right.
Arlen
I'll
puts
get
his
you
hands up in the air. Until we're done planning a heist, we can't talk about anything else.
You probably
So-
shouldn't say planning a heist so loud.
You just said that a second ago.
yeah, but I
was
used the
following your-
inside voices.
That was my inside voice.
Jesus.
I think that my fake name will be Winston Melville the Good. He just nods. Sounds fine.
Did you tie a number into the last part? Is that 3RD good?
Uh-huh.
All right. I don't know the orcish like nomenclature, so I'm not exactly sure how this all works. But
My name will be Melvin. They both say it at the same time.
Nice.
Very well.
You're both Melvin. then.
I'll be Melvin 1.
hey, Melvin 2 ain't bad. Being second, that's all.
No, I'm fine with Melvin 2.
Right. So should we
You'll learn to
like
really love it.
Right,
move
because we're supposed to be
forward for
planning
this?
a heist.
Yeah,
Right.
that bit.
So
You
the
still
museum
screenshotted it.
the museum won't be open until tomorrow morning. Do we want to go
Sure.
down there and case it while it's closed? But that might look suspicious.
I think it would
Yeah.
look suspicious. We should wait
think-
until tomorrow.
I was
We should just enjoy our evening, get fed, good rest, and then get out there like as early as possible, maybe.
Rizza
Sort
brings
of.
you your orders. Here you are.
Thank you, Rizzo.
Oh, that was the wrong voice.
Hmm.
Here you are.
Oh,
Are you practicing like ventriloquism or something? Like you did a
Yes.
really good job there. You were drinking a
That's
glass of water
impressive.
when you said it.
Yes, yes. I have a yes. I have a ventriloquism master. It's a hobby right now.
It's fair to get into arts. Really helps the mental space.
Yes. I'm sorry I can't talk. I have other tables. And she turns and
Sure.
leaves.
Say hi to Jizza and old DB for me.
oh my God, Rizzo was a female. Shit.
Sorry. I've been thinking that the whole time. I can't help
The Jizza,
Wu-Tang.
the Rizza.
it. It ain't nothing to fuck with.
You know,
Anyway.
I was thinking maybe I like the protection I have in scuffles, but I feel as though a little bit more protection might go a long way. And
Oh.
since we're in the capital, I was thinking maybe we could take a little look-see around and check out some shops.
It has been so long since I've been on a shopping spree.
We don't have time to shop.
Well, we
Well,
have a
don't-
night.
We're not
Yeah.
going till
Don't know.
tomorrow morning.
All
Why
the
can't we
shops
go
are-
shop?
All the shops close.
Oh.
There's,
Well, that's
there's no
unfortunate.
night shopping.
It's
That doesn't.
a shame.
Scratch, is there night shopping?
Well,
Probably not
I
like
mean,
the
not,
kind we're looking
not.
for.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I've been sold a few times during the night. That's for sure.
Okay,
You live
so
an
I think you really
interesting
need
life.
Like you need to put like a limiter here. Right? So when you're thinking of saying something, think about, is this going to sound creepy coming from me?
I
Well,
don't. I don't
it's
know
not
what
like
you
creepy.
triggers
He's
you
just like
guys.
referring to
Yeah.
Not
his,
triggered. I'm enjoying a nice
There
dessert
is.
spa, but I don't really want to hear about your sexual exploits.
Hey! One
Well,
of those
well.
had nothing to do with sex.
Sure. I mean,
I
right.
would like to
I
know
guess
which
there's
one,
just
but I'm
like
not going
there
to
is
ask.
oversharing, I
Right.
suppose. Yes, we're all just sitting there like,
I'm-
huh? Nope, not addressing.
I really
it.
want nitty gritty of your history. But now, maybe not. When we get back, however, I think we can have a long talk about what's happened to you, and we'll
Right,
figure
if
it out
you
from
like need to talk or
Yeah.
whatever, I suppose, but this may not be the perfect venue for that.
there.
Sort of
We're here
conversation.
for you as your employers.
Which is not like right now.
It's not a safe space, but Old for Gold is in fact a safe space.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I guess, man.
Right.
So
Anyway,
tomorrow, between the point where we would go and visit the museum, and when we go take an artifact there,
sure.
maybe we can do some shopping between there. But for
Yeah.
the time being, maybe it would be best to eat, drink, and be merry, and then tomorrow we may die.
I'm still going to be Winston.
Does anyone want to play dragon chess? He slams the board on the table. There's like some tinkling.
I'll play.
I will watch and
Right.
heckle the both of you. Loudly.
Sir, 20 gold on Kartuk.
You're on.
I heard you. What?
He beats you easily.
Oh,
Shit. I didn't even
Roll.
have I didn't even have a chance there. Well,
Yeah, there was a few years where I would just do this.
well,
You're
you
paying
have a
for drink.
gift. I'm probably the best here at it because these two can't even find their way out of a wet paper bag. And I don't know much
That's-
about
I
Old Man.
led us across the desert. I take offense to that.
I mean, technically you didn't. For a while you did, but
Right?
Well, that's just a
Archer 2 did
completely
most of the work.
different knowledge sets. I mean, you led them across the desert, and I've studied the half crescent king take 30,000 times.
Sure, like one of those though will keep you from dying from exposure in the desert, and the other will sort of like win games.
In a
in the bar.
hypothetical situation,
No,
you're
no, no,
playing
no, no.
dragon chess with somebody who's willing to offer you a roof over your head in the middle of the desert. That's a situation where you might be able to survive by winning at dragon chess.
And Sir Took a Crescent King take is a false flag maneuver. It's not even, you don't even take things with that move.
What?
I'm draining his drink.
I'm fairly certain that Surtik doesn't even know how to play.
This is why.
The tower one goes in a line, and the horsey one does a weird like L, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and he nods like, and goes back to his drink.
Anyway,
So you guys drink and carouse through the night. We could do this for the next 2 hours, but I think that we should keep the plot moving.
Wake up.
You guys wake up at around 8 o'clock in the morning. With Azran pounding on your doors, going, "All right, get up. We've slept in too much."
I feel like this is the perfect amount of time to sleep, if I'm being honest, sir.
Well, we did want to be there at like 6 or whatever when they opened, I think, right?
Ugh.
Kind of stretches and like straightens himself out.
I'm getting way too old to drink like that.
Well, then you should probably consider not.
Yeah, maybe
Just
start
nice.
drinking wine like Arlen.
That
I only
shit
had a
will
couple of
destroy you.
glasses. I feel great. It's about moderation.
Comes out in his ascot.
Fucking ask.
I've been up for 2 hours. I've just been writing.
I thought that it would just be really nice to like see the sun come up.
Working on my blog, you know.
My wife and kids don't really like what I've written.
My partner and my kids.
Part.
I
Oh,
don't
my-
like you guys.
Cool.
So you guys wake up, and Azran is getting the carriage ready to take you to the museum.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you want to do here while we're here right now?
No, I think like we should probably get moving as quick as we can here. Try and get on that tour or whatever. Get a feel for what we're looking at with this museum, right? It looks around.
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
Cool.
Jalal's going to wrap his arm.
Okay.
I don't want
Cool.
it exposed. I want it to look, well, it's not going to look exactly natural because it actually like hangs lower than his other arm by
Mhm.
a good margin. But I want it wrapped just to kind of maybe look a little weird
Okay.
instead of what it is.
Right, exactly. So the Hyatt Lizard carriage takes you through the city, and you arrive at the museum. It is close to the capital buildings of the actual city. The building is a large red stone building. It's been built. It was constructed quite a few hundred years ago to house some of Misha's artifacts from the time before the Red Queen fell, and has since grown in size and popularity since then. I'll pull up the roll 20 here.
Nice place.
Now, are there crazy artifacts in this place? Like
Yes.
powerful artifacts, or are these more like historical artifacts?
A little bit of both.
Ooh.
Some things they can't even display because they're too powerful.
I never said Jalal's a good person, right?
Right.
It's definitely not.
If anything, he's charming but scummy.
Right.
It all depends on how you look at it, right? You
Yeah,
can
I
still be
mean-
good and
I think he's
Steal
good natured. He
priceless
just
artifacts.
So you guys
Sometimes-
arrive at the museum.
Yes, we sure do.
And yeah, you see people that are kind of filtering in and out. They are, entering through the front door, and some people are leaving going, "I saw artifacts. I did too. This was a pleasant experience."
It sounds like people
This-
having a pleasant experience.
It seems like yes, this is quite a great experience for the whole family, probably.
You guys walk through the
Walking
front
in.
door, yeah. Oops, that's not the right tool.
Hammer.
You enter an interception. There is a pretty large desk with a grumpy-looking man behind it, filing some paperwork and scribbling down some notes. There is a hallway that stretches, about 100 feet, maybe 60 feet, both on either side of you. Let me draw that out here. As well as 4 statues behind you against the windows.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh,
I will, however, take while whoever's interacting with the person at the counter, I want to take a look over the statues
Okay.
and see if there's anything. What I'm looking for. Well, I'll just do the discern realities thing.
Okay.
And I can ask questions or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
so Duck will, go about like, hello, we're here to take a tour or what have you of this fine museum.
Yes. Tours start in 10 minutes. If you just wait here, someone will come and give you a tour. I promise.
Wonderful. Do I like pay you, or how does that
Yes.
all work? Is it
I
like
need
a-
1 silver per person. He looks up. 3 silver.
That's
4
not-
silver.
That's not a thing, right? Like we just have coins, I think. Am I crazy?
No, there's gold, silver, and copper.
Oh, okay.
Not in the system. We've always been
yeah,
interacting
and-
with gold.
whoops.
Right. Yes.
Screw it.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just for simplicity's sake, just 3 gold. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 coins.
Sirtuk slaps down, which is conveniently what he has on hand.
Oh, look at that. So what did you roll, Arlen, to check out these
I rolled
statues?
a total of 6.
Okay. So that's nothing, right?
Oh yeah, I failed.
Yeah, you failed.
That's what
Good
that is.
work.
Yep. The
All right.
statues seem to be of gods, and they're labeled. One is a god of thunder. One is a god of the rain. One is a god of dirt and sand, and the other is a god of stones. They are so ancient that the names are no longer known.
Okay.
Right. So the tour starts soon. He said we have to wait here for the guide or what have you. Are we like allowed to wander around on our own until then, or would you rather that we did not?
If you miss the guide, then you can't take the tour. But yes, you're free to wander. Just stay on the checkered path.
Right.
So we can like basically take our own tour, sort of deal.
Yes.
Well, but we don't know anything about the things. I imagine that we would be. Well, anyway. Well, you want to just like work our way through or what? Yeah.
Well, let's just start our way, and if we come across somebody who's already given a tour, maybe we just hop in on that.
Sure.
Y'all
Which-
wouldn't happen to have any red elf artifacts, would you?
What?
You know, red elves, desert elves.
God, not on display. No.
Not on display.
Right.
Or
I don't have time to explain these things to you. Ask a guide if you have questions.
I'm a historian, so I feel as though
I don't
could-
care if you're a plumber, sir. Ask the guide. Thank you.
You are a wonderful receptionist. Let me just say.
Yeah, I feel very
Excellent.
receptive.
Very receptive.
Should we just wait for the tour guide then? Seems like there's
Good.
information that you want to secure here that like we won't get unless we have someone who's willing to talk with us. Sort of like raises his voice.
Right. My apologies.
A
We
uh,
must hang out for a bit. until-
yes, a half-elf woman comes up and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. He gets grouchy after breakfast. Hi, hello.
He's aware that losing teeth makes you a little bit less receptive to people, right?
I run a business
sure.
as well, and if I would, we're in the business of customer service.
Right.
We would never treat customers like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going to give you a bad Yelp review for that, I'm afraid.
Well,
3 stars tops here.
Though-
You're going to really have to do well to earn
some
this
some
privilege.
people react very positively to Carlisle's way of communicating.
That's fair.
You can call me Isabella. I hear you are interested in a tour.
Yeah, yes, right. He looks around and asks him.
could we get more of a private tour? Just us?
Well, I suppose there's no one else waiting. And I think that you have frustrated Carlisle enough. So yes, I can take you right now.
Yeah, get me away from him before some things happen that I'd probably not like to happen in the capital.
Of course, of course. Right this way. The tour begins with the Hall of Ancient Legends. She takes off down the right hallway here.
As
Wonderful.
they're walking, he's eyeballing Carlisle, just
you and
staring
me.
daggers.
Sirtek's just like behind him, kind of like pushing. Like, no.
He's
okay,
probably
buddy.
not even moving. He's just
Yeah.
being pushed.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, certain I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him.
Later. Alright. We can like incriminate him or something.
So
Keep walking.
you guys pass the Hall of Chests, and you see that there is a 8 treasure chests made of a variety of materials and of a variety of sizes and shapes on tables. You also notice that on each of the tables surrounding the object is a faint blue shimmer that seems to be like hovering just over the object itself.
We stop here.
You guys
Or we
stop. Oh, would
through?
you like to start with the Hall of Chests? Either one, Hall of
whatever.
Chests or the Hall of Ancient Legends. Both
Whatever
are very
the normal,
interesting.
like,
As they're
condition
passing,
is, I suppose.
I think he wants to try to like poke at the blue shimmering field around.
You put your finger on it, and there's like a little bit of a feeling of resistance, but it mostly feels like glass. She goes, please do not touch the force fields.
What are these? I've never seen anything like this before.
Well, they are a enchantment that keeps the object safe.
Oh. That's quite neat.
Interesting. Are y'all magicked up? Y'all can all cast these spells over these things?
Oh no, of course not. Of course not. There is a system in place to bypass this if we have to clean or maintain the artifact in some way.
That's quite interesting.
Everything's here is magical.
You guys arrive at the end of the hall. The first statue on the tour, if you take a look here, is the large feline figure lounging on this slate of bedrock. Give me a second here. I gotta pull up my notes. God, should have done this before. Sorry, so please load. All right, here we go. Yes, if you look here, this is the ancient feline god Pisha. This was recovered in the central Mishan desert about 100 years ago. Came here. We have been studying it, and we have concluded that it was a major god among Orcish tribes in the desert. However, there are no great cats that live in this part of Paralandia, so we may assume that there used to be cats this size or larger that used to roam this area. She turns to the 3 statues. These are 3 statues of knights and warriors from Mishan's ancient history. Some say they are incomplete golems that were designed to be enchanted to come alive to defend the glass cities of the ancient world. However, our archaeologists and cryptographers have not been able to deduce whether they are fully enchanted or were just served as ornamental purposes. Come on, follow me. She walks a little bit further up the hall. This here, she points to the sword next to the statue of Pisha. This is the famous cursed sword of Bin al-Rash, the god killer. Ooh.
Wow.
This sword is said to have the power to slay gods. Bin al-Rash was a legendary hero that lived during the time of the walking gods, and apparently used this very blade to slay several in his adventures. However, it does not seem to be um, quite that powerful anymore, if it ever was, but it is very cursed. Very cursed. Anyone who holds the blade is immediately overcome with bloodlust and rage. She laughs. So, don't get any ideas.
So
right, yeah.
getting the sword here must have been quite a
Murder.
comedy of errors, huh?
Yes, it was, in fact. The government of Damthur tracked it down after a very unusual string of murders that happened in an archaeological dig.
Well, that would make sense.
Right, it's like leapfrog only like with murder.
Right, exactly. She turns and shows like motions to the other sword on the other wall. This is the famous sword of Clan Ulthar, one of the oldest Mishan clans that existed before the fall of the Red Queen. This sword is either the legendary sword of the clan that was used to determine the kingship, or just a normal warrior sword. We do not know. She,
A little bit less foreboding than the last.
It's not
You-
like super cursed or whatever.
You moved from super cursed to just like this is a guy's sword.
We're not sure if it's even like a special sword.
well, it is one of the oldest swords we've ever recovered in an archaeological
right, sure.
sense.
That
It
makes
is
sense.
it's ancient, thousands and thousands of years old. And if you see, some of the detailing is still in exquisite shape.
It's a very pretty sword.
She smiles and nods. Moving on. Now we are in the Hall of Mishan History. Here we have objects from Mishan's storied legendary past before the Red Queen and the desert was even formed. These are very interesting and rare objects indeed.
As she's saying that, I want to kind of open my senses up, and I don't really know how that would work.
Mhm.
But I want to be able to open a line of communication with my with the spirit residing in my arm.
Sure.
If he has any ideas on any of the things in here, if he recognizes anything.
In this room specifically?
I mean, just like on the tour as we go,
Okay, sure.
to run things by him, basically.
He
like
will.
explore-
He will. Yeah, he'll keep a sense out. He will. He will let you know. So she leads you into this hall and says, so I do wish to inform you that this tour has some options. However, I can go through and describe every artifact, but if you don't have the time or the interest, you may just read the cards, which just have the names, and ask me for more information. If that fits your
Sure.
style more.
I think that's like pretty good. We can kind of like poke around, and if anything looks like overly interesting that we need more explanation on, we can sort of ask you. Is that all right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Sir took nods as he's kind of probably been like staring off a lot for like, his descriptions.
I'm
Go
actually
around.
quite interested in the history of all of these items.
Oh, well then, sir.
I mean, we can abridge that either way.
Right.
She
So I just realized, I
yep.
was like, man, yeah, you got a ton of information.
Yep. So she gives you a brief description of each of these items in this hall, and several of them are from like basically stories of Gilgamesh equivalents, like ancient stories of heroes and gods and villainous figures doing great deeds and stuff. There is the elemental bands that were supposedly used to chain a fire god and a water god together. There is a a piece of pottery, of broken pottery from a capital city of the country that the Red Queen landed on. So there isn't very much objects or information from that era. So they're very proud of some of these artifacts that they've found. There are statues of ancient gods. There are examples of offerings given to gods in defeat. You've been defeated by a god, and now this is the offering you must give them. There is a interesting bit of information that she gives you, Arlen. The plate of gold is called the offerings of Boborda, to the sun god. She mentions that it is a very small part of an offering that the hero Boborda buried in the sands somewhere. This portion was basically the part that he took with him to prove that he had given the sun god what he had promised. So there is a giant pile of treasure still apparently undiscovered somewhere.
Hmm.
Are you a follower of the sun god? Who's your god again?
Naravares. It's a Naravares. It's a god of knowledge.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's not like it's a pretty small, almost cultish like
Niche
belief.
god.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But very
Yeah.
interesting. He'll put that Boborda name and that whole thing down. He'll try and keep that in his memory bank.
Get
Okay.
Bartek on that shit. Oh, yeah.
So she turns the corner, and then you guys head down into the Hall of Chests. The chests are arranged from the ancient era, which there is a incomplete chest, which is the oldest artifact ever recovered. It dates back to even before people were settling on and permanent societies on this side of Paralandia. It's also called colloquially Pocket's chest because it was recovered by the treasure hunter Seymour Pocket.
Imagine being Pocket and not being able to do better things than just the chest.
I mean, it's like pretty impressive, right? It's super old or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
but imagine if he would have got that gem from that one place. You know what I'm saying?
I don't despair it, Mr. Pocket. He also has one of the rarest we haven't gotten to his most brilliant finds yet. The museum has 3 objects that Mr. Pocket sold us.
well, we're a bit of, you
we-
might say, fans of his.
Yeah.
Oh, very, very good. He is a very, very famous individual. I was sorry to hear he retired.
You been around these parts in the last few years, or?
No, not for at least 15, I think.
It's a shame. He sure was brave.
You said
Right.
that weird, like.
Yeah.
No, I
maybe
mean like he's
you know, no.
he's brave. You know, like he probably did a lot of.
He did it again.
Sorry, it's like a nervous thing.
Right. You also, in this hall, you can see through the windows out to the courtyard. There is a fountain in the middle, as well as a lot of green space around. The hall.
Is there any way
big are these
easily
bushes?
up or down the walls in the courtyard?
Yes, there are these pillars that go up into little like door roof coverings that have segments about them. They look like they'd be pretty easy to climb for someone who's pretty like has good physicality.
Okay.
You guys end up at the examples of a modern Mishan chest, as well as a chest from post the Walking of the Gods, so like a few hundred years ago. You guys turn past Carlisle again, who's angrily scribbling something down. You flip him off. He doesn't even notice.
Sir took Snickers and also like flips him off, like because he doesn't apparently seem to be noticing, and that's funny too.
This is the Hall of Statues. Here we have
Oh, right, sorry.
a very good examples of ancient Mishan statues and beliefs and gods. Each one is special and unique in its own way. There's a
Sure.
two men on horses. There's a large bestial figure that looks like a alligator holding a scythe. There is a half statue of a man, as well as another statue that looks like the god Pisha.
Okay. Along this trip, um, Arlen he's looking up in the corners and stuff. Is there any sort of like scrying devices akin to cameras?
Yes. In every corner, there is basically a small looking glass. Not looking glass, I'm sorry. Crystal ball that has been looks like attached to the corner. They are scrying stones. Someone who has the control of that enchantment can use those to see through.
Is that a constant thing, or would they have to be consciously looking through it to
No,
see?
they'd have to be consciously looking through it.
Okay.
Kind of like like something you'd
Yeah.
open and look into.
Okay. Okay. It's like one monitor to attach
Right.
to a bunch of different cameras.
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
like that.
Yep.
No picture in picture.
Right.
Um.
So she leads you through the hall of statues, describing a few things. She seems to be excited. Jalal, your arm starts whispering to you. It's
The statues?
no, after the statues in the Hall of Ancient Treasures. The first thing she points out is the wall of small statues, which she says are some of the oldest statues ever recovered from the Mishan Desert. On the other side, she says these are some of the rarest artifacts the museum has. This, she points to a large crystal plate, probably about 1.5 feet in diameter, and maybe 4 inches thick. This is a map of the ancient city of Kumar. And this, she points to a artifact on the table next to it. It's a large black stone. It looks like it's been cracked in half by some kind of great energy. Your arm is so excited. Like it is like it wants this tablet real bad. It is flashing images of great power and glory into your brain hole. This is the black tablet. This was recovered by Pocket.
Wow. And
With a name like the Black Tablet, you can only imagine what it does.
Seems like it'd be really important if it could take on such a sort of like generic name, right? Like, I mean, what's it talk about?
Well, apparently it was used to seal a god away during during the walking of the gods period. But as you can see, it has been broken. So our archaeologists believe it was part of some trap or method of containment that failed in some way long ago.
You're saying a god escaped from it.
Yes.
And where was this found again?
This was found actually on the border of the Mishan Desert and the Transcena Wastes.
Location in particular?
No, unfortunately not. Those are in our records, and we keep those pretty well kept safe.
I would pay good money to figure out where that came from.
I'm sorry, sir. That is not allowed. Anyway, moving on to the next object that Pocket
Paul?
discovered.
Looks directly over to the other two, and you've never seen him like this before, but he looks giddy, like a dog who was just given a treat.
Wait, I had one more question about this this crystal plate.
Yes.
You said it's a map?
Yes, it is. To the ancient city of Kumar, if our archaeologists are correct, which was the city of the night god Lael during the Walking of the Gods period. She, of course, was defeated, betrayed by some kind of captain in her forces, and imprisoned by Misha, or destroyed. depending on which sources you read.
Well, so
Wild.
it seems strange to put a map on a piece of crystal like.
Sure, yeah. Do you know anything about the people who made it or anything like that?
Well, not necessarily. We've studied the map in great detail, but it has not led us to any, it might not even be a real city. It is laid out like the City of Glass in the ancient era. She kind of points out the lines. With a keep in the very center, which we assume was the famous Keep of Lael. Yes, other than that, the people of the Night Mother cult were very secretive. They apparently amassed great power and treasure in their city before attempting to take over the Meshan Desert in its entirety. They of course failed, as Lael was betrayed during the final siege on this very city.
That sounds
Alright.
boring, right? Like, let's move
Well,
on to
what's
some.
this thing over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just get her talking about one of the other.
Oh,
Wink,
this.
Just to like make it seem like that's not the reason that we're here.
You walk around the
Right.
corner and you're greeted with an enormous crystal. It looks
Holy
like
shit.
yeah, it's almost 5 feet across. It looks like the shattered remains of some kind of great pillar. It is still pulsing with energy. And you can kind of feel it even. She says, "This is the second artifact that Pocket was able to recover.
Going to
This,
assume you won't let me pay for information on this one either.
no, unfortunately not. This is according to our archaeologists, this is the heart shard of a crystal city, or the object that gave the city its magical power and defense. We don't know how to access this power anymore, but if we did, we would be able to light up the entirety of Dam Thur.
Interesting.
Wild.
Well, that concludes the tour. You are welcome to enjoy our courtyard. And if you have any more questions, please come find me.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And if we had any artifacts to turn in to you or to the museum, how would we go about doing that?
Oh, well, you would have to talk to Dr. Anam Zia. She's the director of the museum, and she handles any artifact requests.
Right.
All right.
Very interesting. This is quite a selection of ancient artifacts you have collected here. And, it's like very impressive.
Yeah,
Why, thank you.
I love your artifacts. Very beautiful.
I think we will wander sort of on our own recognizance here.
Of course.
And yeah, thank you for your time. That's good. Like, wait for her to leave and then like, right, so like, sort of zeroed in on the thing we're looking for then, right?
And there's a bit of a fun twist. The spirit in my arm reacted heavily to the black tablet next to that map.
Oh,
And
really?
I think that might be a key into some of the things I've been looking into myself.
I'm
So
going to say this, and don't take offense. But so far, out of all the times that spirits have told us something, they have been not good things.
Well, yeah, but this is an ancient person. He showed me visions of grandeur and glory and victory, beautiful battle. I feel like, in a way, he's clued into everything going on. I feel like if we help him, he'll help us. And I mean, you can't deny that he does good work, or at least his arm does.
It's a
Yeah, he's
dangerous
like
game.
your right hand. And starts at Snickers.
Well,
Erlen
does good work.
tinges the bridge of his nose.
Smell my fingers. Anyway, well, yeah, of course it's dangerous. I mean,
I'm just saying we've just sort of opened up this one can of
Well,
worms.
I mean, to be fair, right, like, I didn't die. I mean, I could have been dead, I think. And, like, I was told that that was not the situation I faced, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't entirely bad news.
right, and he was dealing with a god of destruction. I'm talking about a simple red elf chieftain. All he wanted is eternal life. That's all he wanted. And
You know, no big deal.
I think a lot of things that want eternal life are not good things.
well, I want eternal life. Am I not a
I
good
mean,
thing?
yeah, I wouldn't, like, say
I
no
think the
to
idea
it.
of achieving eternal life is that a lot of times it requires a lot of bad things to be done to get there.
Well,
You haven't
see,
achieved eternal life yet.
there's a funny thing about that. A lot of the red elf clans went about it in different ways. Some of them pretty necromantic. Some of them were vampires. However, his clan decided that they could imbue mechanisms with their souls, and I think that's rather
That sounds like some
poetic.
phylactery lich shit right there.
Well, that's a different clan. We're talking about apples, and slightly eviler apples.
Ghost in the machine.
Well, kinda. I mean, when he talks, he's nice. Yeah, I don't think anything bad of him.
Yeah, a
Right.
cart salesman's nice when you talk to him, but he'll rip you off when you pay him. I'm just saying. We've got one thing that's messed up. Be
Oh,
careful. Tread
what-
lightly. It's your choice. It's your decision. It's your
It was,
arm.
like, involved in sort of trying to seal away a god or whatever they said, right? I mean, it might be important for whatever it is where, the Watchers are trying
The
to
eye
accomplish.
was kept to seal away a god.
Right, the tablet, though, was part of a failed effort. It was something they said that the tour guide lady said was used in an attempt to put away a god.
Now,
I
I'm
think
going
maybe it's
going to
not,
hope that it's not him that he was trying to seal away.
Yeah, if it, like, failed to seal away Val,
Right.
then that might not
Right.
help us a ton.
I'm not getting like a divine vibe.
Oh, like your arm. Well, I
Yeah.
don't think it's like a god, right? I mean, it's just like a piece of metal and he, like, pokes it.
Well, well, like I've told you countless times, and you've yet to believe me on the subject. There is a spirit in here,
Right.
and he. I feel like you've gone through enough now to know that there's more to life than just the things you see. And I feel like you should be the one person who believes me more than anyone else. And I feel like Arlen's that person for some reason.
I'm willing to admit that, like, it's potentially possible. All right, I guess.
I'll take it. I'll
But,
take it. You do owe me 20 gold from that last time you told me that you bet me there was nothing in my arm, though.
I mean, we'll see. Right, I've yet to feel that that's been proven
I
unequivocally.
think you owe him 40 because I lost that game of Dragon Chess.
Well, I had him pay for our meals last night, so I think it's fair trade.
Right.
Well, there's and he leans in close to the two of you. You discovered the force fields. There's scrying worms in the corners.
Oh,
So, as far as security, this place is top notch. The only thing that doesn't have is animating statues, which I'm half concerned those statues at the entrance are. It looks like there's possibly a way we could get up and down in the courtyard to get in and out.
Well, they said that it was the roof was also protected by one of these fields as well.
Oh, I must
By
have
they, I
been
mean
cleaning my
Cartoon.
ears out when they said that. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
Cartrix, mentioned that before we left town.
yeah, I really
Ah,
like to just cordon off all the things he says. But I did retain that one at least.
There was a strong smell of cheese. It just
Artificial too, wasn't even real.
right.
Cheese
Um,
product.
Well, that's great. So it's a matter of getting in there and deactivating whatever force field exists. Do you think there's anything else we can do here, not being conspicuous during the day, or should we go?
I think we should
Talk
spend
about this
a
where it's
little bit.
more safe.
little bit more time looking around on the opposite side to make sure we're not exactly implicit
Right.
if we do succeed.
I'd like to go back and look at that statue of the cat god.
Sure.
All right, let's go take a look at the pussy god.
All right.
Good plan.
You are in front of the large statue. What are you looking for?
He-
Do a
He's not
break
looking
here?
at
Oh, yeah.
anything there. He just
Yep.
was a place to.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect place. Yeah, so you guys continue looking around the museum. We're going to go ahead and take our break. Do you want to?
All right, fellas, fellas and fellows and felluses.
Fellets.
Thank you. That's the one. I was trying to.
Fillets.
Fillet.
Fillets.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We're Irrational Radio. We do this every Monday. Old for Gold Enterprises. It's a dungeon world game that we run. We also have every Thursday Table 13, where we talk about the various aspects of running a game, building a world, or even playing in a game. That is 10:30 p.m. This week we're going to be diving further into the archetypes and stuff in Tasha's Cauldron. I believe we left off at like Druid or something. Am
I think we
wrong?
were in Cleric. I
Cleric.
wanna say.
Okay.
About to
Yeah,
start
it
on
was the
Keys
last
Domain,
Cleric one
I
that we
think.
were on. Yep. You can see all this content about a week after it goes live, except for the Table 13, because we have a huge backlog of those on YouTube, which you can just search Irrational Radio on YouTube, and I believe it's linked below. I think I made a little YouTube clicky thing. You can also find our podcast, which is actually, it's done now, but it is a complete story on anywhere you find podcasts at. It's Dragons of Paralandia. I believe there's like 34 episodes.
Yep.
It's a wonderful listen. So check that out. You can come find us in the Discord, which is linked below and linked correctly now. I had it wrong. Realized that when I looked at it last
It's
week.
like half our thing.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
the link changed like a month ago.
Oh,
okay.
Because I accidentally deleted it. Anyway, it's updated, so you can go there and find us there. Also, our Patreon, if you would like to, help support us monetarily, that is linked below as well.
All
I
right.
hope I'm missing anything else.
Amadrino, big shout out to him for helping me with
Yes.
the break video, Table 13 short orders break videos that you'll be seeing here. Still don't have a nameplate up for him yet, but we'll get those in
there
this
soon.
next generation
Yep.
of videos.
All right. Well, we're gonna go on break. We will see you in 15 minutes, guys.
14.765324 minutes.
It's like 14 and a half.
Perfect.
I think. How should players go about determining what kind of style their prospective DM might be looking to implement?
From a player's perspective, there are some questions you should be asking your DM. The setting is a big deal. If you are talking to a DM who's running a setting that all their players, they're going to be joining sort of a guild or a company or a group of people that are like say a den of thieves or a pirates
Right.
ship or something. That gives you an idea sort of for the setting. Are they running a module? Are they running homebrew? Are they running some sort of mix? Are they using a pre-made world? Is it their homebrew world? And that'll give you sort of an idea of what they want to do. So what you need to find out is, are the sessions going to be encounter driven? I guess that's the best way to put it. Because asking them, hey, look, is every session going to be combat, or are we going to have opportunities to roleplay? It seems straightforward, but the main thing is, are they building their game to be encounter driven? If a DM is building their game to be encounter driven, then most of the time, not all the time, most of the time it's going to be that you need to defeat these encounters to progress.
Right.
That tends to let you know that it's going to be more combat oriented. some DMs, and you need to ask them this this question. Can you solve, will they allow you to solve encounters or even combat encounters?
Right.
Can you solve these problems with roleplay?
Yeah.
Do you have that option if your reasoning and your roles line up? Can
Right.
you solve these things with roleplay? If the answer is yes, then they're allowing for more roleplay. If the
Right.
answer is no, which is fine,
Yep.
you're going to have to fight. That means
Yeah.
they want more combat. And I've been in games where I felt, as a charismatic character, that I could persuade some certain bad guys.
Right.
But the DM had the mindset that, hey,
This is
we have to have
rolled
combat
initiative. Yeah.
because it
like-
needs to be exciting.
Yes. Oh no, that's what I was saying. Is that's a really good way to phrase that, or to like come at that, is by saying, "Hey, so how often will I be able to talk my way out of whatever
Yes.
mess we find ourselves in, or think my way out of, or because my answer to that is, hey, if it's reasonable, like you're saying, and the dice line up and all that stuff, yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
There are no guaranteed combats, right? But I think there are DMs who are going to say, well, there's going to be some situations where you're fighting, the giants in this are just savage, mean monsters.
Yeah.
And they don't want to hear it, and they're not going to talk with you. And that's what you're fighting a lot of the time. So there aren't going to be a lot of situations where maybe you can, convince them that it's not worth fighting or that there's a better alternative. And
Yeah.
and I think that is like a really important piece of information to get, and a good way to start to kind of figure out where your DM is as far as players
Yeah.
are concerned.
And like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's just
Yeah.
it's just finding your fit. It's finding your group. All of it's viable, all of it's fun. But if you want a combat-oriented game and the DM is not doing that, or
Right.
vice versa, you're going to end up with some issues.
That makes sense.
You're going to end up not having fun, and that's the whole point of it.
That's not great.
Are you one of millions of adventurers who have suffered from dagger-infested dungeons? Are you a shopkeeper with a cellar full of wild pythons? Are you a bard trying to seduce a Medusa? Then I have the product for you. Dr. Josiah Mason here with Snake Begone Oil. Just one drop of this revolutionary product will have you saying, gee, all the snakes are gone. Because that is exactly what will happen. Anacondas? Gone. Giant vipers? Gone. Water naga, spirit naga, bone naga, gone, gone, gone. Snake Begone Oil will even work on a Medusa. Yes, any snake or snake-related creature that comes within 100 meters will be miraculously repelled in an instant. It's that fast. Those snakes won't know what hit them when you use Snake Begone Oil. Don't wait, get yours today.
Snake Begone Oil has not been tested by the King's Alchemist or any royal authority. Snake Begone Oil should not be used as a replacement for combat, pest control, or as a marital aid. Gnomes who are pregnant or nursing should avoid contact with Snake Begone Oil. Snake Begone Oil has not been proven to repel snakes of any kind. All sales final.
Just kind of tertiarily related to scheduling stuff, I guess. Here is do you prefer like weekly games, bi-weekly games? Are you a big fan of making sure that it's always on the same day at the same time? Do you not care so much about things like that?
Okay.
Stuff of that nature.
Preference versus what I think will work. Okay. Would I
Sure.
prefer to have a game 2 times every week?
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I would prefer a game every week on the same day every week.
Yeah.
But I have found that tends to not happen.
Right.
I have, however, had really good success with a bi-weekly game, because having something that you have to do every week on the same day every week is really hard to do. I mean, especially if it's something that's not exactly mandatory, like work,
Definitely.
if it's a recreational activity, it can be done. And by all means, if you can do it, do it. But for me, what I found actually does work best, and in multiple games that I'm a part of, is bi-weekly.
Okay.
Same day, same time, every other week. It gives players and the more opportunity to do what you need to do on those days that you're not doing the game, because there are going to be things that happen on certain days
Right.
that are going to pull you away from the game. And if you're doing it every week, you're guaranteed you're going to have people missing more often.
Sure.
So bi-weekly for me, it just has worked better. I would love to do it more often, but I personally enjoy a game where all of our players are there every time, and that does happen more often if I'm running the bi-weekly game.
For me, I think I prefer weekly, with the understanding that, like, if you can't make it, you can't make it, and if there's more than one person missing, you probably don't play.
Yeah.
But that, since you're going weekly, if you miss 1 week, it's only another week until it comes back. That's the thing that I don't love about the bi-weekly setup.
Yeah.
Is that if you miss one, it's a month until you play next, or, you know,
Exactly.
between sessions, I guess. And if that happens more than once, you know, you have something come up the next time. Now it's like, yeah. I've lost campaigns because of that before. You know, it's like that's a long enough break that you can totally lose people. Schedules can change in that amount of time and stuff like that. But I agree that, like, yeah, weekly, every week at the same time is gonna be hard to make happen every single week for sure.
Yeah. You just have to have an understanding of a threshold. To where, depending on how many players you have and how many are missing, you have to have an understanding with your group. Hey, if we have this many people, it's still happening.
Right.
Okay, and we'll do the best to fill you in. And you're right, with the bi-weekly games, when you miss one, there's a lot of downtime in between, and that's happening right now with my games because of the holidays.
Yeah.
My games are landing on all the holidays. My Friday games are landing on all the holidays.
That is right in there this year too.
Yeah. So it has happened where we're gonna have, I think, 2 games out of, you know, the 3-month area that are gonna be missed. And with my particular group of players, that is the perfect time slot. We are not able to alter and pick another day as a makeup session.
Right.
It's my players have no other aligned day and time to where that'll happen. So, but, you know, using the appropriate tools and doing everything you can to have the proper group has allowed me to not worry about my players going anywhere. We're going to have some downtime. We're going to have a few weeks in between, a month in between. My players are still going to be there. And at this point, I know that's going to be the case. You just got to put in the work.
Welcome, weary travelers, to Snakeskin Brothels. Come, let our delectable experts rub away the tension of that overbearing dungeon master or that subtly racist murder hobo party member. Our staff are specially trained to make you focus on the one thing that really matters: pleasure. Whether you take a long rest here or simply need to take a load off, let Snakeskin Brothels deliver. It doesn't matter if you're a high elf or a tiefling with family in the 3rd ring of hell. We'll service all your needs. Remember, what happens in the snakeskin stays in the snakeskin. So come, shed your worries and slip into snakeskin, where your pleasure is our business and no one else's. Located in Cornucopia along 7 Cragen Way.
And I think that railroad's tossed around, you know, almost like a curse word, as you know,
Yeah.
in the DMing world. And I think that if you're taking away your player's agency, that's bad. But if you're just all moving toward the same plot line, then there's nothing wrong with that. If everyone's agreeing that they're all interested in saving the world, you know, they don't want to deal with the piddly little nonsense here in town. They want to go straight to the cataclysmic world-altering event stuff, and that's the storyline everyone wants to play. then that's not like a failed DM thing or something like that. I guess it's not my leaning as a DM, but I definitely am more of the whatever, run around, start a business.
Yeah.
I've got a game that they own about 6, and they've had to license them all, and they run an orphanage, and they've got all there's like 100 different little business interests that they're sticking fingers in, and to me that's a lot of fun. But I understand that there are players that are going to be like, oh my god, nothing's happening, like we don't do anything, we haven't left this city in like 2 years, like
Railroad is tossed around as like a bad word. But I think that the main reason that is because I think a majority of people that play, a majority of players end up falling into a certain category of where, they want to play the game because they want their characters to be able to do what they want. And so when you have these players joining into games with DMs that want to run, say, a strict module or a straightforward save the world campaign where it is a little more railroady, you have players that are joining games that they're not a fit for. So then you end up with the railroad being a bad term. Now, if you have players that's what they want, that's your type of game, you're joining a DM because you know he's running a game that is story driven, that is pretty much railroad centric, a module, what have you, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with railroad, but it gets a bad rap because just like any term in D&D, and where you're talking about any type of player or any type of DM, the only reason they get a bad rap is because the players and the DMs are not a good fit for each other. And that's what we're trying to talk about, is to get your fit as a player, as a DM. If you find your fit, there is no bad word.
Right. If you are doing some sort of like greater plot arc development stuff, and even if it's individual running around nonsense, eventually the stakes have to get raised, the pressure has to be increased in some way, and that there are people who are going to call that railroad. I think that it is part of pushing the plot forward at some point. I think that's it's much more important that everyone's looking for the same kind of game, because what one DM does and gets called railroading by one player, another DM could do with another player and never hear the same word, because they were both looking for that kind of game at the time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Old for Gold. We are back from break. These guys are trying to get a artifact out of a national museum of Damthur in the Mishan Desert. So far they've gone on a tour and learned a whole bunch about artifacts from this area and some of the lore of the world a little bit. You guys just finished your tour. I have been imagining you guys have been having this conversation out in the courtyard, because that would probably be the best place to do this kind of thing.
Makes sense.
So you guys did talk about what you're gonna do. But and we talked about more on break, so I guess one of you just kind of throw it out. What have you guys decided to do with the information that you have?
Okay, so what if we try, I guess we don't have to go through that. Whatever. We're talking about just like going up as a more straight offer to be sponsored as adventure, as like the people finding relics, rather than like bring them evidence of our ability to find stuff, rather than I guess trying to steal it at this point. It seems like if we walk in with the Eye of Misha and say, hey, we're the folks who did what Pocket couldn't, that maybe they might let us borrow the things we need to find the stuff.
And Azran did he did bring the eye with him. So you
because we're gonna
have
go
it here.
after this place anyway. So,
Right, exactly.
yeah.
You don't want to go back to the you
Yeah.
have to go back to Maka, just go back out in the desert.
So I guess after having this discussion, like, I guess should we head back then and like gather up the Kartuk's report and speak with Arlen and whatnot and move forward with this plan here to try and we could just sort of shoot right back and then see where we go from there.
yeah,
Get an appointment with this director lady.
I don't think we'll need an appointment with what we have. I think we have the key to one of their biggest finds of all time.
That's a good way to sell it. It's so we head on out. Do we get hand stamped or are we gonna have to pay attendance again? That's
No,
right.
you get hand stamped. Yeah, he draws a little ink circle on your thumb. Grumbly. It kind of hurts a little bit. He pushes too hard.
Hey! Why do you use a quill? Why don't you just use like an ink pen?
I think you drew blood.
Yeah, I'm bleeding right now.
Well, that way you're not gonna.
No, sorry. God, I keep going.
Arthur,
Whoa!
why are you here?
Jesus!
Well, that way you won't scratch it off or anything like that.
Right, or heal the scar which forms.
I have a bone to pick with you, and I think you're gonna hate when it's splintered.
Right.
That took a second to sink in. Well done.
So you guys leave and head back to the Green Inch. You walk in. Azran stands up from a table and comes over and goes, "What have you found out?"
Well, we have a plan.
Good.
You're gonna hate it.
Oh,
Well, you might not. Right.
Might not. I don't know why I said it in your voice. That was weird.
what's the plan?
Well, we're thinking of offering the Eye of Misha.
I hate it.
Of course, I said that, but you gotta let me finish. We're thinking of using the Eye of Misha as collateral, and we do this whole deal. We take the map, and we take another artifact that's important to me and my goals. And we work as a adventuring group for this museum, like Pocket did. So we go about this. We fix your whole evil god situation. Ooh, booga booga. And then we bring the items back and we put them back on display.
Interesting.
I mean, if you looked at the place, it's not exactly thief friendly.
Right. So upon review of security, you think that trying to make a deal with him is a better offer?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It seems like that may be a more likely way out. They've got these weird, like, force fields and,
Right,
scrying orbs and things. And it's like, maybe, like, they've got a lot of pocket stuff in there. So, like, maybe if we come in with a thing that he couldn't get, that they'd be like, oh, wow, you're like expert explorers and whatnot.
That's not a bad idea.
That's exactly how Jalal pictures them, though.
Fine.
Like, he's like, we fucking destroyed Pocket. Idiot. We did it.
Pocket's a chomp.
Yeah,
Azran sighs, goes to the room, and comes out with a bundle. He hands it to you and says, "This is the eye. I wouldn't uncover it until you get into the museum, obviously."
Right.
Right.
I'm actually going to wrap it in my hand, in my wrapped construct hand,
Sure.
in a grip.
Right. So you're just always holding on to it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to pit pocket you on the way to the museum.
I'm just making
It'd be
sure.
really impressive if you did now. Yeah.
All right.
Like,
So you guys.
Duct tape
Oh,
your
we
hand.
take Kartuk's
Notes.
documents
Yes, that's
as
right.
well.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Quamar documents. Okay, so you guys head back to the museum. You walk in.
Yeah, just the stuff about the lost city rather
right.
than the LOL reference.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Probably.
And
I
don't want them to know about the apocalypse.
Right.
side.
when we get up to the door, I'm going to unwrap it from my hand and I'm going to hand it to Harlan and say, "While I think I might be a better barterer than you are, Harlan, I think you might be a better talker than I am."
Sure, yeah, he
That
like
is
puts
about the
words
wisest
together
thing
good.
I've heard you say in a long time.
Well, I like to keep my wise thoughts down and compressed. So people are like, "Ooh, he's a wild card."
So
You sure are.
you walk up to the desk, and Carlisle looks up and goes, "Oh my God, you guys again? What?
You could just say hello. Can I speak with the what was her name?
I want to
the
hold him up by the
director.
lapels.
Uh, all right, so we got to talk to one of the fine directors here, and by one I mean the director.
There's only
Sure,
one
he's like a
director.
lady.
Yeah,
And
Can't
I lift
remember
him up a
names
little bit
super
more
well.
off the ground so his feet are
It's
dangling.
Dr. Zia. She is here, but she's very busy.
well, yeah,
Right, we have something she's going to want to see.
I highly doubt that.
Well,
You are wrong.
yeah, that.
The last time I bothered Dr. Zia, she came out, took one look at the shard of pottery, and I was verbally harassed for days.
He leans in close and goes, "It's the eye of Misha." And then he leans back.
The
You can probably put him down there, Jalal.
the
all right.
the eye of Misha, you said.
Right.
Well, go get her.
Now run along. Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
be
hurry
right
up.
back. I will be
Oh wait,
right back.
and then he's gonna grab the quill that he used to stamp Jalal's hand, and he's going to draw a very large circle on his hand, like deep cut circle.
Ouch.
All right, you make sure she sees that. That's my mark.
Uh-huh. Ow. So he takes a handkerchief and wraps his hand up and goes into the offices. After a little bit, he comes back.
That works all day, by the way.
A very, very severe orcish woman wearing half moon glasses with a bun, or her hair in a very top messy bun, comes out. She's wearing a lab coat as well. She goes, "What is this? What is it?"
I love
You
your
are
coat.
severe, aren't you?
Beer
Right,
is a
we
great
have-
way to explain
Yeah.
it.
You said you have the eye of Misha.
Can we maybe not yell?
Yeah, that's quite loud.
Read it.
Is there perhaps
Can we
somewhere
talk
else?
about this somewhere other than right here in the middle of the goddamn lobby?
Carlisle, watch the desk. Very well. Come into my office.
Watch the desk, Carlisle.
He kind of
follows.
jumps him by.
Yeah.
You guys are led behind the counter into the offices. Why?
Why indeed?
Because that's why.
It's good. Good answer.
What's with it?
You guys are led into the corner office. She sits down on the chair by her desk, turns to you and says, "Very well, let me see it, please."
Why are you screaming?
I am not screaming. This is my normal tone of voice.
I don't know.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that certainly hasn't done you any favors in your life.
Seems quite
What do you
tiring.
mean? Is that a
It's
joke?
just you come off pretty strong. That's all.
Very beautiful.
We'll move on to something that isn't insulting the way that you speak.
Thank you. I would like that very much.
He unwraps the eye.
Oh. It is
Now-
beautiful.
All right, it absolutely is. Now here's the thing.
Severe is just the best.
I feel like
it's
you
an
have one
unlikely
of
descriptor.
those,
It really is.
shut one of those, like, oh god, the swagger sticks or whatever they're called, the weird crops, riding crops. That's what it is.
How did you find this? Not even Pocket could do it.
Well, we're not Pocket.
This
Right.
is true.
Better.
It was found in Pocket's folly, which was aptly named after his inability. to
I
retrieve it.
know Pocket's folly. Yes. I helped him find it.
So we don't come to you offering this. We come to you to make a deal.
The deal? What kind of deal are you going to make a museum? We are a national funded agency. It takes a lot of coin to make this place run. What kind of deal do you think I'm going to make you? I can't just shower you in riches for coming here with some kind of artifact that some half-rate treasure hunter 15 years ago couldn't bring me.
Right.
All right. Well, now there's a lot to unpack in that sentence you've given me. Now, let me respond to each section separately. I don't want your money. All right? What I want is I want to work for you. I want to provide artifacts for you, but in order to do that, I need the map to the Glass City.
And the Black Tablet also.
Right.
We can retrieve artifacts like the Eye of Misha. We can bring those to you. I am a man of the cloth. I follow Naravares. It is in the tenets of that god to do exactly that. I'd love to do that for Danthur. But what I need in order to do that is the map to the Glass City.
I see. She
Right,
steeples
we have
her fingers.
these reports here that we think are sort of like good founding to lead us along the lines to find what we're
She
seeking here.
Snatches them out of your hands and begins looking over them. Yes, these are very good documents.
Don't mind the cheese. The man has a bit of a problem.
Sniffs it. Is this you?
No, it's one of our employees.
Snack cheese.
Yes.
Aiden 05.
Good year.
Cheese of the snack variety.
So what you're telling me is you wish to have the map in order to find Quamar.
Right, I think we need that tablet as well.
Yeah, we need the Black Tablet.
Why do you need the Black Tablet?
It's also a little bit of a side project of mine.
It's like relevant.
If you require the tablet, I cannot accept. The tablet has been marked dangerous by the government wizards.
Why is that?
Interesting question, yeah.
It has been corrupted by fiendish magic.
Is that what broke it?
We believe so, yes.
He looks like with a sort of like matter-of-factly look at Jalal.
While seeing him in his peripheral, tries very hard to not stare at him directly.
So I cannot give it to you.
Well, what if I told you that it's part of a archaeological dig that I'm invested in?
The only way I would be able to release it from this building is with half a company of Mishan soldiers.
Would we be able to like study it or something from here?
Right.
Perhaps.
If I could get time with it. Here.
Yes. I will allow you laboratory time if you are able to bring me back even the location of Quamar.
Deal. I mean, Arlen, that sounds good, right?
I think that's like reasonable.
Yeah, sir, you think that's a good call?
Would you be able to sort of secure any like, kind of like logistical funding grants or whatever for our efforts to secure more things for the museum here?
We have a very small budget when it comes to these things. I hope you understand. But she looks at the eye and kind of rubs it slightly. With this, I think I will be able to get the rulers to provide me with a little bit more coin. Especially if you allow this museum to keep the eye once you have used it for whatever purpose you need it for within Quamar.
I think that can be done.
I think we can, yeah, that seems reasonable.
As well as the map.
Right. Obviously.
Right, we'll bring the map right back.
That's just like you're lending it to us or whatever.
Right. There will be documentation involved.
That's understood.
Cool.
Yeah,
And
you're gonna want to talk to our writer guy here, Arlen. He does all the writing. Don't do anything with Cert other than ask for his name. He's
like
real
X's.
good, but he's not exactly the.
Reading's sort of one of those like
necessary
extemporaneous
skills.
skills. No, totally right. Like you can't eat words.
Her
that
lips
written
are
on a
so
Well.
thin, they're like white.
Telling a story and then writing and reading and writing is stupid. Yeah. Okay. It's like, anyway.
You will also be contracted. If you are able to find the city of Quamar, the museum has rights on any artifacts you find over a certain price value.
Yeah, but what if there's an artifact that might help us in our endeavors? Let's say there's a mythical suit of armor.
Then
What
it
if I
will be
want-
leased to you by the museum.
All right,
Okay.
that's fine then. All right.
I think that's true.
Will you accept pocket terms? Any artifact under 10,000 gold belongs to you. Any artifact over 10,000 gold belongs to the museum.
That sounds really good to me right now, to be honest.
I
I-
think that sounds reasonable.
I think that's the way it should be. I agree.
Very good.
And I mean, like, it's likely that, I mean, if we were trying, like, under 10,000 gold pieces, would that be something you would be interested in buying from us?
Pocket
Or
asks the
whatever.
same questions. We have a very, very strict budget. If you
Right.
offer at market value, we probably most likely will not be able to afford it. This is why we only have 3 artifacts from Pocket instead of the many, many he was known to procure.
Now,
Right.
do you have connections to people who would, in fact, buy artifacts from us?
No, I do not.
I think we can find those
Right.
sources ourselves.
I find those kind of people reprehensible. Artifacts should belong in a museum alone.
Reprehensible.
Well, I mean, it really
That
wouldn't
came
depends
from a guy
on.
who can't write.
I mean, I feel like
Hmm.
they only belong in a museum as far as the museum can afford them. So,
Yes, I think I will have much fun working with you.
oh yes, we're.
That's the word I was thinking.
I
as
was
well.
thinking fun. You really exude this sense of fun and excitement
like
when we
whimsy.
deal with you.
you
Yeah,
know.
whimsy. I like that word.
I think maybe our next meeting will just be me and you.
I would prefer that, yes. Now, it is going to take a little bit of time in order to rearrange the exhibit so that the map of Quamar can be taken and delivered to you. You will have to give us 2 days.
Well, we have some tubes from Pockets Folly if you want those in trade.
No. We have
They
other
were-
objects in
Yeah.
storage that we can bring out and display. I do not want your tubes.
They're pretty cool, though. Like,
They are
made of
nice, they're
sandstone, they're
nice.
quite fine. Like, I mean, diminutively carved or what have you. I mean, they're nice, also.
Is this over?
Thank you. Thank you for meeting with us.
I do have one more
It was a
question.
pleasure. Is there
Now-
a question?
I'm sorry, Arlen, but this one's a me question. It's not like a
like
societal one.
like a week.
Answer it
Yeah.
quickly.
All right. I'm in the market for other red elf artifacts. Do you have any others I can investigate while I'm looking at the original
You
tablet?
understand red elf artifacts are some of the most dangerous artifacts to be recovered from the deserts.
I want to unwrap my arm. And
Her eyes go really wide.
I think I know a little bit about red elf artifacts.
Did you staple that onto yourself?
It's not stapled. It was surgically attached by
Under your...
my own hands.
My God.
Yes, it is a functioning arm as if I was using it like this one.
And he holds both arms up and like mirrors the movements.
She puts on another pair of glasses and say, I will pay you 5 gold right now if you let me look at your arm.
I don't.
That's good money.
This sounds
take
like a
it.
scratch sort of situation.
Take it. 5 gold is 5 gold.
I wish to see how the flesh and the metal are getting along.
It doesn't come off.
It does not come off. Apparently, my good friend Surt here has tried to remove it on numerous occasions.
She
I mean, only
pulls
when
a
you're like
small
really
pouch
drunk and
of
passed
gold
out.
out of her desk and puts it on the table in front of you, and
He'll
then
grab it.
goes over and begins looking at it. She goes, "Are you suffering any shortness of breath, weakness of vision,
Not as far as I can tell. No,
loss of appetite?"
I drink a lot. Does that count?
Hmm. Did you drink a lot before you put the arm on?
Well, I was like 14 when I attached the arm, so
Yeah.
not
Dear
really.
God, how long have you been attached to this thing?
Well, how many moons am I now?
That's like a
I'd
long
say it's
time.
about like maybe 12 years, give or take.
Dear Lord, I am amazed that you are still alive.
Well, it's been nothing but helpful thus far.
Helpful.
I could bend bars, lift gates with.
It communicates with you?
Well, not really. No, it's more in pictures. It
Pictures are a form of communication. You
all right. So
understand?
No, yeah, they work pretty well.
technically, on a technical level, yes, it does communicate with me.
Hmm.
Are
He's,
you trying to tell me you believe that there's like a little man living inside his house?
sir, I've been telling you for about 5 years that this is in fact a thing. Why would I be lying to you this whole time?
I mean, I didn't think you were lying. I just thought,
My
thought you were
meetings
crazy.
with Pocket were usually polite and well-mannered and very short. I liked that about him. She puts her
Well-
glasses away. And it seems like
Pocket's
you're the kind of group to go around stapling cursed red elf artifacts to yourself. So I have to say my trust is a bit shaken now. She puts her picks off her
Wait,
second pair
this
of
didn't
glasses.
help our credibility.
No.
He's like a living artifact.
Yes.
Well, I can tell you with 100% certainty that we can do the things you need us to do.
Well, I'm
Okay.
certainly not going to let you study the black tablet.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Well, can we like have like a little kumbaya group study about it then, or you can be there when I look at it. It's something that's genuinely very important to me.
Very well. I will be present while you are studying it, but I would request that you do not let the arm make contact with the black tablet.
Do you think the spirit embodied in this artifact is inherently evil?
I don't know. I know it's probably very old and probably very focused on remaining alive and tied to this plane.
Right.
That seems
These are all
reasonable.
things that I have told him.
He has been like a nagging mother, telling me
Mhm.
that the things and the choices I'm doing.
We are now getting to a part of the conversation I do not care to hear. If there are
Right.
any other parts of your body you have replaced with cursed ancient artifacts, please reveal them or get out of my office.
Sertic, like, puts on a pensive face for a moment or two.
I had a
trying
really
to, like,
funny
consider.
and witty way to respond to that, but I think it would hurt our relation. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
I was
the
gonna say
conversation.
something about like something in another part of my body, but I feel as though
Thank you for the meeting.
Oh, are you
Arlen's
guys
been
talking about your
instilling in
junk?
me.
As we're like walking
yeah.
out.
That's what I'm talking-
That's
what I'm
pretty
talking
good. That would have been quite
Arlen's
funny.
now pushing both of us out of the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Once the door shuts, he goes,
Well,
That's a funny one. It was good. I like it.
All right. So Carlisle leads you out and says, or leads you back to the reception desk and says, "Well, now you kind of know while I am like this, right?"
yeah,
No,
I-
not exactly.
I'm a little sorry about it. I feel like I could be a little bit grumpy now after dealing with that.
He rubs his hand.
I'm
I
gonna
had
give
one
him.
me-
I'm gonna put the 5 gold I got from her on the desk for him.
I had one meeting with her, and I halfway through it, I caught myself talking like her for a moment.
Yes.
It's infectious.
well.
and he leaves a Well, he doesn't have business cards, but he writes down Old for Gold Enterprises in
We should get business.
in me
cards.
in Maka. If you're ever looking for employment, seek me out.
I'll think about it. I don't know. Am I gonna get drawn on some more?
Maybe.
I mean, just don't be a dick to me. To be honest, like I wouldn't. I was in like high spirits, and you really like brought my vibe down. But then I realized that my vibe can be really brought down if I talk to another person. So in retrospect, I feel like you're rather nice.
I
Yes.
still
I
think
feel like
both of you are kind of pricks, but
I feel like at
could
the
be
end
worse,
of the
I
day,
suppose.
there's some level of you that was probably fixable until you had a boss like that. I can assure you I would not be a boss like that. And then he turns to go.
He's pretty good boss, to be honest. if you're-
Surgic like wings.
in the
Like,
thing, yeah.
So you guys leave, get back into your Hyatt Lizard cart. Chariot. Where would you guys like to go? It is near the middle of the day. We only have about 19 minutes left in the stream, so it ought not be anything too involved. This would be an excellent place to end the stream as well, with this nice gentle ending of an arc, but we can pad it out for another 18 minutes if you guys are interested in that.
do we want to run back and talk to Arlen real quick, or do we need to have that conversation with him?
Arlen's right here.
Oh, or not Arlen, sorry,
Azran?
Let's talk to Azran.
Okay.
Aslan, the lion.
The
Aslan.
Lion King.
Yep.
So you guys head back to the Green Inch. He is in room number 13. He invites you guys in. You guys sit down. He says, all right, how did that go?
It went about as well as it could go, given that she was very severe.
Severe.
Severe is very.
That's an
solid way to
interesting way of describing somebody.
She was kind of like yelling almost, but not quite.
Like
It's
always.
Quite like, stern. I don't know.
But it was a positive outcome. We
Oh,
were able
yeah.
to, we're going to be able to take the map
Excellent.
under the condition that we return the eye once we're done with it.
Well,
Once we've used the eye, it serves no harm to the world.
yes, as long as it doesn't necessitate its destruction in order to release Lael.
Well, cross that bridge when we come.
Yeah,
to
I
it,
mean,
all right.
it's our. We only need the map, so really we can weasel our way out of any situation. At the end of that whole deal.
Yeah.
As
I mean,
long
worst
as
case, they just won't pay us or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even getting paid much. I don't think. I think they did say they'd be able to secure us a little bit of money for supplies. I think as well. Might not be much, but could offset whatever it is that you spent, perhaps.
That's good to hear. I have spent quite a bit to get us here in this time.
Well, we are drawing closer to the goals that you are hoping to achieve.
That is good.
And we didn't have to break the law to do it. We didn't have to
Yes.
steal anything.
Right. Well, I think that
love
you've
it.
done a very good job.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I honestly thought that, once I started with, the whole being a little bit that we were, going to get thrown out of there. She took a bit of exception to that, I think.
yeah,
I
she
would
also
say
didn't.
probably in the future, I wouldn't use it as a selling point.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and especially with those who have made their life's mission the collection and sort of preservation of knowledge, and often in a written form.
There is a knock on the door.
Uh-oh. And then he goes, no one's
A tabaxi walks in, with its face covered and wearing, desert wanderer garb.
Hello.
This is not your room. Your room might be a different one.
No, this is the right room.
Okay.
You are old for gold?
Oh,
yeah.
my name is Thaddeus.
I'm Winston.
No, we don't have to do that anymore. I'm
forgot.
Arlen, yes.
I forgot my code name was.
Right.
It
Yes,
was
yes,
Charles.
it is. What do you want?
He flashes a golden cat paw symbol from his neck.
You're part of the Paw Patrol?
No, I'm an
Got
agent
him.
of Massey. You had
Oh, right, yeah.
dealings with him, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We had positive relationship there.
Oh, very positive. Massey was very pleased with the speed in which you were able to retrieve the eye.
Are you like
Right, we just
Okay.
kind of like borrowed money from him, right?
Yes. You borrowed money from him and then sold the eye, netting
Yeah.
you enough gold to pay him back very quickly.
you're like a reverse loan shark or something?
That is, yeah, I'm confused. I guess,
Are you-
like, what's...
Are you
yeah,
gonna
what
break
do
our
you need?
kneecaps if we don't borrow more money?
Massey comes with a deal or a warning attached to it.
Oh, well, that
Uh-oh.
sounds like just extortion, but okay, go ahead.
Yes, well, Massey has noticed that you have taken interest in the National Museum. Right.
Okay.
Well, if you were planning on some kind of illegal activity, Massey has a very generous offer if you could just procure something from the museum from him.
Well, I'll see myself out. You guys have fun talking.
Yeah, check, you know, the laundry. See if you can
He
refill the
stands
ice
up
bucket.
and kind of gets in your way, holds the door shut, and says, "This is for all three of you, or for nobody."
Well, it's kind of sounding like a nobody situation.
Yeah,
We already have a deal struck with the museum.
we have
Ah,
sort of found another way around
see.
Yeah,
Then
we're not
what
exactly
we
looking
need.
this
for.
comes with a warning.
Right, the extortion bit.
No, nothing so crude. The warning is Massey wants the artifact, and he's going to get it. Now, whether you're part of that operation or not, he will take it anyway.
What artifact is that then?
Oh, you didn't take the deal, so I don't have to tell you.
I suppose.
Well, how about a little bit of reverse extortion? If you don't tell us what you're after, I'll break your kneecaps.
And he'll start to the runes on his arm will start to glow.
Yes. You're going to get into a fight here.
Well,
I
I've
mean-
gotten into fights in bathrooms, bars, inns, taverns, pigsties at least twice. I think
The
I'm
three of
fine
us.
with here.
Right, the three of us were
Well,
just, you know,
before
minding
this
our own
escalates,
business in our
before this-
quarters, and some unknown stranger stormed in. We were forced to defend. I mean, you know,
Very
anything
well,
could
very
happen.
well. I will leave.
Before this escalates to some kind of violence, what artifact is he after?
He
I
wouldn't
am
If
say.
we
not
were to
going-
consider this deal in any capacity, I mean, if the money's right,
Hmm.
I do like money.
I mean, I do as well, but
Now, hold on, sir. Let's
Massey,
maybe here.
he relaxes a little bit and kind of you can see him smile underneath his face covering. He says, "Well, Massey is offering you 25,000 gold if you can
That's a whole
only
lot of
get the God Killer's sword."
oh,
A Giga Curse sword. That's what he wants.
right, yeah, the one what gives
Yes.
you like a murderous rage or whatever.
Yes.
well, you think he'd probably get about 3 steps before he had a
No.
artery
He
blockage or
does
something.
not want to use it for himself.
Of course.
Hmm. Well, I mean,
Now
we
that I've
could,
told you,
yeah.
it becomes a little bit more difficult, you understand, to let you go, to walk away from this deal.
It's a funny way of phrasing it, considering there's 3 of us and 1 of you.
Yes. One of me here in this room.
Certain odds, yeah. Like, yep, right, yeah. I mean, that's where we all are here. So at the moment, that's
Right.
like the meaningful context.
Yes. But doing anything to me isn't going to stop Massey.
Sure.
Well,
But I imagine it won't help him get what he wants either.
we
Most
also don't
likely
really
not.
have any ties to that sword. So, if
No.
anything, we're not a very important part of this whole situation.
And I'm sure that if you just maybe used your connections with the museum to make it easier for someone to take that sword, he might reward you in a minor way.
Well, I mean, if we make it possible for it to be stolen, we'll be paid for stealing it, I believe. But I think we are not necessarily in a position where we have any interest in sort of risking our position at the museum right now. Kind of looks around, unless I'm wrong on that. I mean, 25,000 of them were sort of presented here.
Well, I know what Arlen thinks. He's going to say, fuck no, but probably in nicer clerical terms.
Look, here's the deal. I was interested in knowing because I didn't know if it was something we were already getting our hands on to complete what we were doing. We have no interest in stealing for you or for Massey. We have no interest in hindering your ability to steal whatever it is you're going to do. We simply want to be left alone.
Very well. If you allow me to leave this room unharmed, I will take this information back to Massey and let him make his decision.
Well, you could tell him that while we might not be interested in this specific situation, down the line, if he's interested in things that aren't tied to our exact endeavors, we're likely going to be more than happy to help him. But
Sure.
Very
this
well.
is a little too close to home.
Right, we don't want to like shit where we eat or whatever.
That's a good
Right.
way to put it. I hate shit.
Mm.
You don't
It's not
poop in the hand that
sanitary.
feeds you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
because then all the food you eat's going to have like poop on it. It's
That'd
not
be
going to be
bad.
really like easily digestible.
Not sanitary.
Fine, then. We will be
Oh.
in touch.
Oh, remember one thing. Don't ever threaten us ever again, or you're going to have a very hard time.
I
Also
believe next time that Massey threatens you, it will be in a greater position of power than one man standing in a room alone.
Well, I hope you have at least 200 men, because I think each of us could take like 50, right? And then I think Arlen could probably take like 35.
I mean, I hobble to the table when we come in the bar.
So
Let's
Yeah.
not
counting off
get
on his
ahead of
fingers,
ourselves.
like,
I'll give him like 5 for now, but Cert and I think a few
I
more
assume you have some sort of patrol outside. Some people waiting outside the window to jump in. He didn't just send you.
Maybe.
well, it's not really important here, right? Because we're all on
No,
good terms.
We're all on good
friends
terms.
here.
Right, all
think
friends here.
Exactly.
Professional
very
relationship.
Excellent.
Now,
Wonderful.
I'm going to take my leave. Meow.
right.
Meow to you too,
You've been
friend.
saving that this whole never mind. I'm not going to get into it. You do
Well
you.
done.
I feel like that took a lot of restraint to keep in this entire time.
He leaves.
It's like aloha, you know.
That's a mahalo if I've ever heard.
All right.
When we get
Right.
back to Maka, I swear to God, I'm going to go talk to that fuck, I can't even remember his name. I'm getting old. Massey, yes. I'm going to talk to him. We need to square a few things up because this isn't going to fly.
Right. I don't
Right.
like shady deals that aren't come from our own brains.
I don't like
I-
shady deals to begin with.
Well, yeah, but
Right.
You could have just
Yeah.
stopped at the
But your-
shady deals part.
your player's name is Shady, so I feel like you have kind of an investment.
Oh.
It's actually right now. It's Kyle.
Right.
Why?
My nose is bleeding.
It's some kind of zeitgeist of nicknames and
I don't know.
whatever. But
Weird meta jokes happening.
Regardless.
anyway, thank you everybody for watching us tonight.
Yes.
We very
Wonderful.
much appreciate you watching us.
Thank you very much for tuning into episode 6 of Old for Gold. It has been a pleasure putting this on for you guys, and I am excited to see where this story goes in the future. Thank you very much for tuning in, and again, we will be back with this in a week at 9:30 CST,
and we will be back streaming on Thursday at 10:30 CST. We are going through more Tasha's Cauldron stuff. Thank you very much again for everyone who tuned in and hung out with us. Have a good
And
night,
thank
everybody.
you very much.
Yes.
Also,
Also,
don't
thank
forget,
you very
thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
And
Hey,
And thank you.
You there.
Thank you. Yeah, you, Jeremy. Thank you.